Welcome to Raise Nation Radio, the podcast for nonprofit movers, shakers, and change makers. We're here to fuel your passion with a daily dose of fundraising inspiration while keeping the conversations and connections from the annual Raise Conference alive all year long. Tune in for fresh perspectives, bold strategies, and the hottest trends lighting up the nonprofit world. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, buckle up. Each episode is packed with lively discussions, expert insights, and creative solutions to help you make an even bigger impact. Now get ready for another exciting episode. Please welcome your host from One Cause, Dawn Lego.
Well, hello, Raise Nation. I'm Dawn Lego. I'm your host today for this great episode and yet another episode of Raise Nation Radio. We're so glad you're joining us. Thank you so much for making this such a popular place. You've been a great fan and a great audience, and we have another great episode for you. So around here, we celebrate purpose and passion and all the people that make impact possible. So if you're new to the show, allow me to give you a very warm Raise Nation welcome and sit back and relax because we're going to talk to a mission-driven organization today, one that does so much good in the world. So please help me welcome David Jacobsen. He is with the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Augusta, and I'm so glad that he's on the show. We're going to learn all things about Ronald McDonald House and how we're impacting our communities together. David, welcome to Raise Nation Radio.
Dawn, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. Appreciate it.
I love your shirt. That's the Ronald McDonald House Charities, I guess, insignia there, right? Part of your logo? Yeah. Very cool. I love it. Well, you know what? I think we know, or we think we know all about Ronald McDonald House Charities, but I wonder if we really know, because it's been an organization that's been around for quite some time now. And I'd love to hear how it's evolved, what it's doing today. But before we get there, we want to get to know you. So I know that you're the president, but you might hold some other titles. Why don't you introduce yourself so our audience gets to know you and what brought you to Ronald McDonald House Charities, and spill the tea on David Jacobsen.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that opportunity as well. And I grew up in Chicago and started my professional career there. Got my doctorate in clinical psychology from Wheaton College, which introduced me to the nonprofit world during my internship for my doctoral program, and ended up getting involved with children's residential care and stayed in that field for quite some time, and eventually got to the point where I was looking for something that would really give me more of an opportunity to be more mission driven, period, and got connected with Ronald McDonald House up in upstate New York, and was in Albany for about 4.5 years. And now for the last year and a half, I've been here in Augusta, Georgia. Things are a little bit different in the South, and it's an enjoyable thing. But the mission of taking care of families with children that need health care, that hasn't changed.
Yeah. Whoa. So how did you get from upstate New York to Augusta? What was that story?
Well, there were some things going on, some family issues, as my parents had gotten to an age where they needed some assistance with making a transition in life. And so I took some time to be with them and be able to help them get settled. And they are now fully retired and living on the Jersey Shore and enjoying that.
Oh, I could go visit them. That's where I am.
You can go visit them. Well, if you know where Bayhead is, that's where they are.
I do. I'm in Toms River.
Not too far away at all.
No.
And I grew up going there. My grandfather built the house that they're living in back in 1938.
Oh, wow.
Been in the family for a while. I say house, but it's a beach bungalow.
That's kind.
But it's wonderful that they're set there. And I knew I wanted to stay with the Ronald McDonald House mission, so I looked for opportunities, and they called me to Augusta, and I'm very excited to be here. A lot of good things happening in Augusta.
All right. So you said there's a lot of differences. Give me the top 3 differences between upstate New York and Augusta.
Well, pace of life is a lot nicer down here. It's not as hard, fast paced as everything is in New York. That's one. But I think there's also there's a difference just in priorities. SEC football is huge. That's a part of everything, but it's wonderful. I mean, Augusta is really just a fantastic town with wonderful people that really want to get to know you as part of everything too. And makes it when you're in a mission-based organization, it's all about caring for people. And so when you can build
Yeah.
those relationships, that's helpful.
Yeah. And it's home of the Masters, right? Isn't it the Masters? It
It
takes place in
is. We've
Augusta?
got
Okay.
and we had a marvelous Masters, my first Masters experiencing that this year. Wonderful to bring a little history with Rory completing the Grand Slam there.
Yes, we watched. We're golf enthusiasts here in the Lego home, and we watch that with a lot of enthusiasm every year. A lot of shouting in my house. So, okay. All right. Well, we got that out of the way. I want to talk Ronald McDonald House. It's such a wonderful mission, but it's a delicate mission too, because if I have this right, but I want to hear it from you, we have youth that are transplanted from their home while they're undergoing some serious medical or life-threatening illnesses, and they're transplanted because of the need for health care. And if that weren't enough, families are worrying about the roof over their head, and that's what the Ronald McDonald House Charities provides. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you have that essentially correct, but let me go a
Okay.
little bit further than
Course
that.
correct me.
Ron McDonald House started 50 years ago, and this is very poignant for us this week. The co-founders of Ronald McDonald House were Dr. Audrey Evans. Her life story is just phenomenal. She passed away about 3 years ago at the age of 97. But her life story is worth knowing. I encourage your listeners to go on Peacock. There is a movie streaming called Audrey's Children that tells Audrey's
Here, write that
story.
down.
And
Okay.
it is phenomenal. Ron McDonald House chapters, including here in Augusta, helped fund that movie to produce it. It was great. We had a chance to see it in theaters in March, and it's now available on Peacock to stream. And I just encourage everybody to take a
That was
look at
this March. It was released this March in
just
20.
this
Okay.
past March.
Oh, and you know what? We probably can get the link directly to that right in the show notes, or at least information about it. So
Okay.
it'll be on my hit
And
list. Thank you.
I would encourage people to watch. You'll see that there were some things that were true about Audrey. Wasn't necessarily known as a rule follower. Then
I like
again,
Audrey already.
being named as chief of pediatric oncology at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in 1969 was an incredible feat. And for
Yeah.
her to be a real trailblazer as a woman, but more importantly, just as a human being, and being able to see families differently. One of the things that Audrey recognized, and she dealt with kids with cancer. A lot of her work was spent with leukemia. And in looking at what she did, she saw that if you have a child in treatment, you've got to take care of the whole family because it's not just the child that's affected. She watched families that were sleeping in hallways. She watched families sleeping in waiting rooms. She watched families make the awful decision we can't afford to stay here. We're going to take our child out of treatment and take our child home. And forgive me, I'm going to keep talking even though this fell out of my ear.
That's okay. Please.
But she really set the tone for the most important thing we do is meet the needs of the next family walking in our door. When you look at that, we don't know what that next family is going through. We don't know what the illness is. We don't know what other things they're facing. So Ronald McDonald House, if you have a child in treatment, you're eligible to stay at Ronald McDonald House. And what we've seen with that are babies that are born prematurely, maybe as early as 22 or 23 weeks old. Families are going to be with us for 4 or 5 months when that happens. Families dealing with cancer, and a lot of cancer treatment now takes place outpatient. So the family will stay with us, the child will stay with us, and they may be here just for a couple of days, but next month they're coming back for a couple more days, and the next month, and the next month. So we build long-term relationships with each family that's going through that. That's especially poignant in Augusta because the Georgia Cancer Center is right here. And the Georgia Cancer Center has clinical trials going on studying the deadliest forms of childhood cancer and significant brain cancer. And so we have families that come from all over the country and even some that come internationally. And without Ronald McDonald House, those families would not have a place to be. And so the purpose of Ronald McDonald House is really to make sure that those families have a place to live so they can be near their child. Also poignant, though, for this week, our other co-founder was a man named Jimmy Murray. Jimmy Murray was formerly the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles. And when one of his players, Fred Hill, and his wife Fran, their daughter Kim had leukemia. And this takes you back to times when Fred and Fran could not afford to stay in Philadelphia. Fred, of course, could stay there as a player for the Eagles. It's hard for us to imagine with what professional athletes make today. But back in the early 70s, professional athletes didn't make that kind of money. And Fred and Fran needed help. And so they asked Jimmy for help. And Jimmy thought he did a great job. He raised money to be able to support Fred and Fran. He went over, he met Audrey. And when he saw what other families were going through, he went back to the ownership group of the Eagles and said, we got to buy a house. And a couple of those owners that were part of that group had a connection to a little restaurant you may have heard of called McDonald's. And that's really
I
how
don't
the
know.
story got
Golden
started.
Arches, maybe?
Yeah. And so Ronald McDonald House has been there from the beginning in 1974 in Philadelphia. 10 years later, we opened the house in Augusta, really looking at the same thing of families that were sleeping in either waiting rooms, or there used to be a library in the hospital here that families would sleep in. And so the local community got together, and we had an incredible leadership group in this community that said, we got to bring something like they have in Philadelphia down to Augusta. And so we've been in Augusta now for 40 years. We are
Wow.
100 yards away from the doors of the Children's Hospital. So families are right here. And that opportunity, now I say all that and give you that background on Jimmy. Jimmy Murray just passed away this past Monday
Oh my gosh.
with cancer. And he has just been a phenomenal influence and wonderful guy. One of the things that I remember about Jimmy the most is he would encourage us to say, he would say, do you know the words listen and silent use the same letters? And he meant that to encourage people to spend time being silent so that you can listen to the needs of the families that are around you. If you know what their needs are, you can find a way to respond to those. Wonderful advice, wonderful guidance for anyone who wants to be involved in a mission-driven organization. Spend time listening. It really is. It's helpful to be able to engage people.
Eye-opening. Yeah. I just wrote it down. I never realized that, but that's exactly right. Listen in silent. I encourage our audience to write it down. It was pretty profound when I did. So that I go back to the opening of our conversation. I think we all think we know what Ronald McDonald House Charities is until we have the opportunity to sit down with you, and the story is just remarkable, right? I had no idea, but it's just incredible. How many houses are there now for youth
Well,
in Augusta?
that's one of the best things. Here in Augusta, we've got one house that has 23 guest families that we can house overnight every night.
Okay.
But we are one of 395 Ronald McDonald houses in 62 countries. We are a worldwide organization, and we're the hundreds of thousands of families that are served each year. And one of the things that I appreciated about Dr. Evans, she was asked about 5 years ago by Susan Campbell, who's the CEO of the Philadelphia House. She was asked, what do you want your legacy to be? You've got this phenomenal legacy as an oncologist and the advancements that you helped make in leukemia. You've developed this entire network of Ronald McDonald houses to take care of families all over the world. What do you want people to remember you for? And Audrey just simply said to care, because it was never about her. It's not about the organization. It's about that next family. And that's something that we all, no matter which Ronald McDonald House you go to, we all try to emulate that piece and looking at what are the needs of other families. Ronald McDonald House is a lot more than just a house at this point. We don't have this in Augusta, but there are programs that have care mobiles that take medical care and dental care and vision care out into rural areas or areas that are hard to access. We have family rooms located right in the hospital, so families don't even need to leave the hospital to get that comfort and care. And then we have programs that are unique programs that are looking at meeting local needs and being responsive. And that's one of the privileges that by having the network this way, although Ronald McDonald House in Augusta is its own organization, we've got connections worldwide, and we can see what other people are doing and be able to help that. Locally here, one of the things we just started a Ronald McDonald hospitality cart, and I love this cart.
Tell me about it.
is 6 feet long, 3 feet wide, and it is stocked with coffee and snacks and grab and go items. Then it also has toiletries and personal care items. It has books. It has toys. It has stuffed animals. It has clothing, especially for preemies, things that families might need in the hospital that they weren't thinking of when they went there.
Yeah.
So this every morning, this cart goes throughout the entire hospital, starting in the NICU, going to the PICU and all of the floors of the children's hospital, extending kind of the hospitality of the house to families that are in the hospital. It is amazing to see how something as simple as a cup of coffee that allows a family to stay with their child right in the room. They don't have to go anywhere to get it. How meaningful that is. And of course, like everything else, this is provided to families free of charge. And really based on the generosity of our community coming together to be able to support, whether it's providing wish list items to be able to help stock the cart or financially supporting the program. We don't charge for anything we do for families. We want them to know that our community is coming and caring for you at this time.
Wow. So profound. And it's nice to see how the programs have expanded to meet people where they are and just to provide that full circle experience, because it's you don't think, when your child is sick, you really don't think. I have 2 children. I have never experienced that degree of a scare or trauma, but certainly I've had my visits to the emergency room and things like that. You just go, right? You just like everything drops, you just go, and you're really not thinking about anything else. And it's nice to know that there is an organization that cares. And it sounds like that is part of your culture globally, right? Through all 390 plus houses and everybody that's involved. It is a we care culture. And that's just such a beautiful thing, really.
It very much is, and it's a joy to be a part of it, and the camaraderie that we've been able to build amongst each other. We share in the joys. We also share in the heartaches, and that community of support. The nickname for Ronald McDonald House is the house that love built. And when I look at it, a lot of that is if you put yourself in the shoes of a family that maybe is coming to the hospital for the first time.
Scared.
They may have heard the
Overwhelmed.
word cancer. They may have heard that they're going to be giving birth and they're only 22 weeks pregnant at this point. Whatever the situation is, their anxiety's high. And
Yeah.
a lot of families come in feeling like they're the only ones going through this. When they come in the door and they realize they're greeted with a smile from our best volunteers, they are welcomed into a room, they are shown where to get something to eat, but then they meet other families. And all of a sudden you realize you're not alone.
Not alone.
You've got other people that maybe have been going through it a little bit longer, and to watch the relationships build family to family, it is healing. It brings hope. It brings encouragement. The outcomes are not always positive, but the support that is there, the friendships that are built, they last forever. And so when you can build that culture and build that support, and that's what we try to do. We've got an outstanding board, an outstanding staff, and some fabulous volunteers that are a part of that. And all of that's needed to be able to keep providing those services so families don't have to pay for any of that.
Yeah. Audrey would be so proud, because I think the legacy she intended was manifested and happened. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm afraid to ask, but I would assume most of the houses are pretty full, tight, which is over 300 something houses. Do the math. Those are scary numbers.
Fortunately and unfortunately, the houses
Yeah.
are generally full. What's good about that is that means the families that have the need are there. There's a constant need. There are always houses that are looking to add capacity because the needs are great. One of the things, though, that I think is wonderful, being in 62 countries, you realize the needs of children are universal. They really, and the compassion and to be able to build that culture of support, that plays well anywhere all over the world.
Yeah. That transcends any geography. Wow. I had the privilege with my daughter many times. Typically it was once a year, maybe twice a year, to bring all the supplies and cook meals at a Ronald McDonald House. I don't know how I could explain that experience, because it wasn't volunteering. in the beginning it is when you're planning the menu, you're working with the house, you're getting the supplies, you're raising money, right? At that point, it feels like volunteering. But once you get there, something changes. I don't know that I could explain it. Maybe you could explain it to me, but
I love that.
it's
In
no
Augusta,
longer Go
yep.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. In Augusta,
No.
we call that program our family table meal program.
Yeah.
And we have every single night, we have a group of volunteers that prepares a dinner for all the families in our house. That can be
Yep.
45 or 50 people. And we try and organize it so it's not the same. It's not always pasta. It's not always chicken. We've got some groups that are really creative with it and coming, but having a community that comes in to do that, sometimes it's people that work together. Sometimes we're right on the campus for Augusta University, so we get a lot of students from AU that will come in and be a part of that. But we also have some long committed volunteers. We've got one volunteer. He has been cooking on the third Monday of every month for 21
Oh, wow.
years.
Wow.
And it's
But
phenomenal.
something happens when you get there. You're no longer volunteering. I can't really explain it. You're no longer preparing a meal and serving and clean. Something almost like a Thanksgiving dinner
Yep.
transpires where the connection and the meaning and the intentionality behind it, the whole it's unlike any volunteer experience ever been through. It's definitely, I would encourage our audience, if you haven't, you should, because it really is life changing. And you walk out of that meal wondering when you're going to do your next meal because you almost feel like you've left family. It's just a different experience. How is that so powerful? How have you created such a powerful moment where your clients that you're serving and your volunteers come together in that family way?
I think the answer to that question is found just in the simplicity of it. Having a hot meal, that's a basic necessity of life. When you're able to provide that for someone at a time when food isn't what they're thinking about because they're focused on the needs of their child, and they should be. To be
Right.
able to provide that and to be able to see that, one of the things, and childhood illness really is this, it's a great equalizer because every single one of us is affected by childhood illness, either directly in our family or we could be at any moment. We had a family recently stay with us who they were never had a care. They were actually donors and supporters for Ronald McDonald House. And then all of a sudden their three teenage daughters were in a car accident. And now all of a sudden they need care and support.
Oh my gosh.
And, to be able to handle that, we are blessed here in Augusta. We've got such an incredible medical community with the Cancer Center, with the Wellstar Children's Hospital being a level 1 trauma center and being a level 4 NICU. And they've got the best pediatric cardiology program in the Southeast. Having that kind of expertise here, plus at another nearby hospital, Doctor's Hospital, we have the Burn Center, which is one of the highest rated burn centers around. Families that are dealing with that kind of trauma still need a place to stay. Many of those families their child comes here for the medical care, but the families will come to the Ronald McDonald House so that they can be nearby.
Yeah.
And
How
I think when
close is the
you get
brand?
a chance to cook that meal, you're interacting with families while they're going through that level of concern. And
Yeah.
you realize, but for the grace of God, you could be in the same boat.
Yeah, and I think just natural, like care, compassion, and curiosity met with somebody needing and wanting to
Mhm.
connect, whether they know it or not. Just magic happens at that dinner table, really. Kind of reminded me of when I used to do this, and I think I need to organize another meal because I do miss that. How close do you work with the brand of McDonald's and the Golden Arches? Is it much more than the Golden Arches and the logo and what we think it is, or how do those brands work
It
together?
is a lot more. One of the things that your audience might not know, when you go to McDonald's and they ask you, would you like to round up? That roundup portion that you pay, which may be a few, it may be a
Pennies,
25, 30 cents.
dollars?
It's not, it's going to be less than $1, but that money stays local. It goes to your local Ronald McDonald House. And that is a very important piece for the Ronald McDonald House. Each Ronald McDonald House continues to be supported by McDonald's, but I want people to understand it's not necessarily McDonald's as a giant corporation that we all think of. It's the local owner operators. It's the local stores. They serve on our board. They volunteer. They prepare meals for our families. They are supporting and participating in our events. And they give out of their own pocket, as well as opportunities for like Roundup for the community to come together and support. I really encourage every single time you go to McDonald's, even if they forget to ask you, Roundup, because that helps support each Ronald McDonald House on a local basis.
Good tip there. I mean, that's a great way.
And especially do that when you come to Augusta in April for the Masters. Make sure you visit every McDonald's store and round up at every single one of them.
There you go. Good, spoken like a true development. All right. So, okay, we know one thing that we're going to do, right? We're going to round up when we go to McDonald's, any McDonald's, right?
Yep.
So what else?
And we're going to volunteer to cook a meal. So we got two things already.
We got those two things out of the way. But what else? What else do you need right now? And how can people get involved right now?
I think there are a couple of things, and I think every Ronald McDonald House would say that. Go visit the Ronald McDonald House and see what your local Ronald McDonald House needs. I know for us, once you come in our doors, you can't escape. You're part of the family at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're going to look for what I can do. We have volunteering opportunities all the time. We have volunteers that work in our reception area that are greeting families and welcoming them to the house. We have volunteers that are running activities with families or just doing simple tasks like cleaning. When you look at the reason families are here for childhood illness, we really have to be as careful as a hospital in keeping the environment clean, but we also want to keep it fun. So getting involved in wish list drives, whether it's to meet the basic necessities of the grab and go food items and things like that families need, water bottles, personal care items, toiletries, all of that kind of stuff is needed at each Ronald McDonald House. Those are the everyday things of life. But also don't forget, we've got kids and siblings. When you're the sibling of a child that's going through severe illness, we need to make sure we're paying attention there also. So we have a room here in Augusta. We call it our domino door. It is a 4-foot high door. So we say you have to be shorter than that in order to use that room. On the other side of that door, we have a toy room. And we open it up and we say, it's all brand new toys. What would you like? And just to bring that joy for kids. And I'm going to share one of my favorite things because I see it time and time again. I will open that door. I'll bring a child there for the first time. Their eyes get wide and they see all the toys. And I say, pick anything out that you'd like. Most kids will turn back to me and say, can I get something for my sister?
You're going to make me cry.
Whatever it is we learn to become an adult and think about ourselves, we need to unlearn and go back to being a kid and thinking about our best friend and thinking about others. That joy, that permeates throughout the whole house when that happens. And it's just wonderful. And so, to be able to support your local Ronald McDonald House by doing those kind of things, providing that we have law offices and realtors that create drives where they do that. We have partner stores like Walgreens does a big partnership with us, and they do a lot to collect items like that for us here locally. Just whatever you can think of in a way to be able to meet those basic needs. And it all comes down, we're not talking about anything extravagant. We're talking about just basic needs.
Yeah. Which is easy but sad at the same time, I mean, to think that families are in need of basic necessities.
Because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of families that have stayed at Ronald McDonald House. They'll do things like when they're celebrating a birthday, they'll ask for toys to give back to the Ronald McDonald House as part of that. It's simple, but it really has a deep meaning. It brings that connection together, and it's just a way in which, as human beings, we all connect to each other.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I love this mission so much, because we are meeting the most basic needs for families when they need it the most.
Yeah. So basic, but yet so profound, right? And all built on community and connection. I can't applaud you and thank you enough, for what you're doing and just how you're.
I'll add one more thing.
Please.
My encouragement would be that you look at your Ronald McDonald House and consider making a gift It costs approximately $150 to house a family for a night and provide all the things we provide. And we have all sorts of other activities too. We have therapy groups that come on a regular basis. We have a reading library where we bring in local children's authors to read to the families, a lot of other things that are part of that. But it costs about $150 a night. I would encourage to make a monthly pledge of $150 to your local Ronald McDonald House, and just take care of one family for one night.
One night.
It's a simple thing to do, and that's something that has a real, tangible, meaningful impact for
Yes, and
families.
we know firsthand here at One Cause, we do have a one causer whose child was at a Ronald McDonald House for several months and couldn't speak more highly of that experience under a difficult, time, but it meant the world to them for this young man to have, the connection, the community, the caring, and the tangibles, the basic essentials. It meant the world to this family.
And if you want to learn more, make an appointment and go visit your local Ronald McDonald House. Look at the events that they're having and attend one of their events. We've got an event we're doing with One Cause coming up just next month called Wine,
Oh,
Women,
tell me
and
about
Shoes.
that.
We're
What
doing
is
an event
that?
called
Wine, women, and
Women, and
shoes?
Shoes.
Well, you're preaching to somebody who's gonna love that.
And it's a marvelous night. It includes, we've got 12 local boutique shops that are going to be available, and women can shop at those boutiques. In between those shops, we have 6 wine tasting stations so that they can sample different wines.
Well, you're smart.
And of course, we have
With wine, I'll take that pocketbook.
we have a few different fundraising activities that are part of that. But then we move to a second portion of the night where it's a sit down dinner. We've got a silent auction. We've got a live auction. We have a program where one of our families shares their story direct. And we've got a wonderful video that I haven't let anybody see till that night because I want people to see it. So, a little bit of wine, then we'll get them crying, and then we'll ask everybody for money. But
Sounds like you know what you're doing there.
End the night with a fashion show, and it's a lot of fun. We're
I
looking
want to
to raise a lot of
come.
money
When is
as
this?
part of
Wait
that.
a minute.
This
When
is
is this again?
September 18th, Thursday
September
night,
18th,
September 18th.
Thursday night. Where is it at? What's the venue?
It's going to be at the Bell Auditorium here in Augusta, Georgia. We're going to have 400 people there. We are close to selling out. I think we'll be sold out within the next couple of days.
Well, we're so
which-
honored to
which is
partner with you. We have a culture here at One Cause, and we truly, truly believe that we're building software to help our nonprofit customers just raise more, reach more, build a better tomorrow together. And everything we do is based on that, on that premise. We know for sure that it's a very small role of your mission, but nonetheless, we're so privileged to serve and to be able to provide that tech piece that hopefully is helping your impact in your fundraising at your event. Sounds like a wonderful time.
It is. And one last piece to it. We have a group of volunteers. We've got 50 volunteers that we call our shoe guys. And they are doing peer-to-peer fundraising right now through One Cause, raising money.
Fun.
Whichever one of those guys raises the most money during that night, we're going to crown them the Shoe King.
The Shoe King. Who doesn't want to be Shoe King?
It's just a lot of fun. And it's a wonderful night. It comes back, and it's all about supporting the mission of Ronald McDonald House. Enjoyable time. Our silent auction goes live actually on Tuesday next week. So we'll have the silent auction available ahead of time. We're
Sounds
excited.
like you know what you're doing.
It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, well, we're going to be cheering you on, making sure that you hit every goal or exceed them. And more importantly, we hope that we're just helping you connect with your audience in ways that just moves them and inspires them to activate, to do something. Where it is. I so enjoyed our conversation, David. I wish I could talk to you I knew coming into this that I was just going to learn a lot about something that I already thought I knew. And I still had the basics down, but I didn't know just the story, the legacy, the underlying care in all caps that is the Ronald McDonald House Charities. So I truly appreciate your story and enlightening me. You inspired me. I almost want to move to Augusta and come to your event on the 18th, but we're going to wrap this up and put it in all the show notes so people can get involved, contact you, keep their lens on your mission and how they could help and inspire others and just make it that much better for the next family around the corner, just like Audrey wanted. Any last words of advice to the families out there, or to the volunteers, or to other nonprofits and their missions? What do you want to close us
Well,
out with?
Dawn, I want to thank you for having me on the program. But I think as far as the last thing I'd like to share, if
Please.
you are ever feeling a generous impulse, I would encourage you to act on it, because at that point, that is a time when you're going to be making a difference when you act in a generous way.
Yeah, I love that. Such a culture of care and spoken. I wouldn't have expected anything different from you after this conversation. To our audience, sadly, that is a wrap for today's show, but you don't have to end here with your connection to the Ronald McDonald House Charities. You can check out the show notes. You can get involved. You can visit your local Ronald McDonald House Charities. You can see how you can get involved and or round up when you go to McDonald's. I'm a frequent visitor of McDonald's. I'm going to round up now every time. But a big thank you to David Jacobsen from Ronald McDonald House Charities in Augusta. We'll get that in the show notes so that you don't have to remember, and just sharing that story with us. And thank you all for tuning in. You all are the heartbeat of this community, and your voices, your experience make Raise Nation uniquely inspiring. Our tagline is your daily dose of inspiration, and David, you didn't leave us short of that, right? Totally inspiring. We really thank you for sharing your story today, and thanks for being on the show. I know you're so busy. September 18th is right around the corner. So appreciate you taking the time today.
Thanks, Dawn.
Until next time, y'all stay fearless and keep raising the nation. Fearless Fundraisers, that's a wrap for today. A heartfelt thank you to our guests for sharing their stories, insights, and expertise. And to you, our fantastic audience, for everything you do to build brighter tomorrows in our communities. We hope today's content inspires you to amplify your mission and grow your impact. Don't forget to join us for new episodes every Thursday, wherever you listen to your podcasts, or catch us on YouTube and on demand at onecause.com. And before we go, we'd love your help in growing this podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, follow, and subscribe to Raise Nation Radio. Share it with a friend, and please leave us a review so we can continue delivering content that inspires and empowers. Raise Nation Radio is produced in partnership with One Cause, your go-to for digital fundraising solutions that connect nonprofits with their donors and drive results. Visit onecause.com or scan the QR code to schedule a one-to-one with their fundraising experts and explore the latest tools and innovations to help you reach more and raise more. Plus, be sure to check out their extensive catalog of free resources to support your mission. All the links are in the show notes. Raise Nation Radio is inspired by the annual Raise Conference, presented by One Cause. We'd love to see you in person at the next Raise event in September. It's a 2-day experience featuring over 35 CFRE-accredited sessions, dynamic speakers, and the latest innovations from our sponsor pavilion, and priceless networking opportunities. And while you're there, don't miss the Fearless Fundraiser Party. It's where memories are made and lifelong friendships are formed. Secure your spot today at onecause.com/raise. The link is also in the show notes. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and as always, stay fearless.